right, as the Dolphin turns, the drama continues. And I think it's starting to get a little interesting here with the Tua contract. And I'm going to get into that today. Comments coming out from Love's camp and coming out now about Tua and the Dolphins. I think this thing now could get sticky. I thought beginning of the year, offseason, they were going to let him run on the fifth-year option. And then I didn't. But now I am. And there is problems with that. And I think the sometimes fans and ability to really visualize history in a clear way can kind of come up and cloud the present. And there's a lot of stuff in this I want to get into. So that's going to be for today. The Tua contract, statements out by him, how he's feeling and things are going, this Love situation, and then a little ditty from the past that I think brings clarity here. And then a real issue that comes up with what we've done to build this team and with Tua. Okay, so that's it, guys. I appreciate all you do. I really do. This thing ain't happening without you. The comments, the views, all that stuff, guys. It's I'm feeling good again, and I'm really hoping to have my best season for you guys because you are the best. So I want to give you a shout out and a shout out to Ace Bread, my sponsor, because without the two of you, the show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. We're hearing that Tua feels a little less confident that things are going to get done. And we're hearing that the Dolphins aren't offering market value. Now, you might not like Tua, you might love Tua, but the fact that they're not offering market value is kind of bizarre considering all the stuff that's led up to the situation. But then when you go back and you watch an interview from a few years ago, it kind of is a little clear. But there is a lot of problems for this franchise if Tua is not here. And I think whether you like Tua or you don't like Tua, you know the guy could throw the football quick and he could throw the spots. I don't think anybody's debating that. It's like, can he do more? That's the debate. But the thing is, this whole team has been built around that skill set. And it's kind of a puzzlement. I don't know if you guys remember The King and I, Yul Brynner. It's a puzzlement that, not really, but sort of, that you're going to build this team in such a way that this guy's skill set, which is unique, he's the fastest thrower in the league. It's the only thing that's the engine that could drive this team, and you've built everything around it, but then you don't want to pay the guy. And so Miami Dolphins kind of have themselves in a weird situation. But again, it's not so weird when you look at the past, you look at how Chris Greer has handled things, and you look at Stephen Ross. Guys, I remember when the whole thing came out about Stephen Ross, it was Floor's the bad guy, he's the bad guy, and Ross is the good guy, he didn't do anything wrong. And then most of those people were like the Tua people. But remember, he said this.
It will be up to the head coach in terms of what he does with quarterback. Just Tua, as I said before, I have a lot of confidence in Tua, but it's really going to be dependent on the next head coach is and the direction that he wants to take that position.
If the next coach wants the quarterback, another quarterback, then we're going to go with that. We're really confident. But he had Brady in the wings. He had Peyton in the wings. Was it Don Yee is the agent of both guys. They both retired. Peyton made comments about Tua in the offseason like he's not good enough. And Ross, somebody forced Tua in 2020 against the staff's wishes. Somebody wanted Burrow. It was clear that the NFL said, it made it clear that Ross made it apparent that, draft status was more important than winning. He wanted Burrow. And who was chasing Watson? People who tell me now that it was Flores, you're high as a kite. He had no power. They cut Van Noy to spite him. They let Flowers go. They had Brady in the wings. They planned on firing him no matter what. There's no way he's got the juice to make the team trade away 50 million picks, pick up a huge eyesore as far as public image, and then invest lots of money if you're on the way out. Chris Grier's father worked for Houston. Their ties were there. That's why you had all this movement between the two teams. Ross wanted the big quarterback. Dan Marino is a fan of Watson. They wanted Watson. They wanted Burrow. They wanted Brady. They told us, well, he's our guy. We have a lot of confidence in him. But whoever the next coach is, wink, 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 Peyton and Brady. So I'm not saying they don't like the kid, but they're not as high on him as they pretend. They want somebody else. But when Flores put out his lawsuit and then they were found guilty in some of these areas and lost draft picks with the egg on their face, they had to come out in 22 hot. They couldn't get Brady. They brought McDaniel in. They said that we got a guy here. We like him. We think he's talented. We got this, but he's inexperienced. So we've got to do something to maximize our quarterback, to get some victories, to get this egg off our face. And they went all in on this kid's one particular skill set. They built everything around it. And then they had to go back and double down this year. But they're not willing to give the kid market value. Because they're not really that. If you believed in the kid that much, as everybody we've been told by all the biggies, it was Flores who didn't really want him, then you would have given him this contract considering that you've built around him. And if you don't, what would this team look like if you had to get a guy in there to throw? Okay, maybe you'll get it. If people don't like Tua, you get a guy in there who can read better. Well, reading better means that clock's going up from 2.09 to 2.35, 2.45, 2.5, like most of the league. How do you think that offensive line is going to do? How do you think Chris Grier is going to build that offensive line that quickly? So you got all this talent and capital built in, and now you got to build an offensive line. And Chris Grier's proven he hasn't. This team is in a very tight spot. And the problems will be magnified if Love gets his contract out first. Because if you see here, it says, according to Adam Schefter, who spoke to ESPN Marketing, he's heard that Love will command north of $55 million in his new extension. I don't believe Jordan Love is taking less than Trevor Lawrence. I just don't think he's doing it. So if the deal has got to get done, if the deal had gotten done a few weeks ago, we could have seen that number being 52 or 53. But now, because the Lawrence contract, he's looking north of 55. And if he's looking north of 55 and he gets his contract out, what do you think Tua's going to look for? What do you think he's going to want? Even if he decides to take a little bit lower than that, it's more than the market value they got right now. And if they're not willing to pay market value now, they're not willing to pay it later. But why would you draft a kid, 5th overall, with the injuries that he's had, go through this whole thing, build the whole team around him, and then not pay him? It makes no sense. If you're a GM and you're not certain about the kid, you would build a team that's more generic for any kind of quarterback, but it's been built so pigeonholed for a quick throw spot thrower. Not saying that's all he could do. We don't know, but right now, you can't plug any quarterback into this offense and get it go. Well, they got the skills. No, you don't have the offensive line. Offensive line allows you to get into that mid-range and get into your second and third wide receiver. I don't care who you are. Unless the ball's coming out hot to trot, and his release is so quick, it shaves a couple of tenths of a second off a throw. So they can't rebuild this thing quick enough for another quarterback, so they got to go with the guy. So I think it's more and more likely, not saying so, but it's more and more likely that they're going to let this guy play on the 5th-year options, which I originally thought, and I didn't think it was going to happen after a while, but now I'm back to it because I think Love's going to get his deal done, and then you got Dak next year. You got a couple of quarterbacks that are going to be looking for a big payday. And if Tua has a semi-decent season, it's going to put him in that range. And you've built this team up so you could pad his passing stats. So if this guy could stay relatively healthy and in this pigeonholed offense, put up good stats, then you're in a worse spot than you are now. And so it's a hard position. They've kind of not developed the kid right. They're not certain, obviously. If they're not paying market value, what are they saying? But remember, Tua, he had those concussions and said, well, he went back in on the second concussion. There's things, there's dead bodies he knows about too. And he, like a good soldier, kept his lips shut. And now he's getting the Christian Wilkins. He's getting the Hunt. He's getting the Van Ginkel treatment. We don't pay for some reason, Chris Greer likes to max contract Chubb and give him draft picks. He likes to give Ramsey pretty much max contract and picks. He likes to give Hill max contract and picks. But when it comes to his own guys that he drafts that are pretty darn good, he wants them to play for bottom dollar. I mean, Waddle was a good deal, a cheaper deal. But not everybody's going to take that when they deserve more. And why should they? Why should they when guys like Connor Williams, who he was a good soldier, transitioned to a different position, and then you let him hang out there and he gets almost his career lost? There's no loyalty from our GM, except if you're on another team. And I think Tua knows that. And the talk is like, if you don't pay Tua, who the heck are you going to pay on this team? Who's going to believe that, hey, man, there's some kind of unity here? There's a lot underneath the hood that's brewing. And I think it still can get done. But if that Love contract gets done first, look at the fifth-year option. And then let's say the guy gets injured or whatever because he's trying to overperform to get his money. Then what do you do with this team? You got to totally find another quick throw quarterback or rebuild this offensive line. And both those are extremely difficult. This is a very precarious situation. I still think it could get worked out. But man, it is not as smooth as silk as it was. And I think this could get ugly. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm seeing it. Get ready for an exciting year this year. I think if the contract gets done, but just imagine if he's playing on his fifth-year option. And then next year, they're going to tag him. What is he going to think? Man, it's going to be real interesting stuff. So as the Dolphins' turn is on its way, I don't know if we should sign him or not. I don't know what money he's worth or not. It's so convoluted because of the way we've handled this and the way we've built this team. I just hope it all works out. I hope Tua has a great year, whether it's the fifth-year option or not, and we blow it up. Maybe we win a Super Bowl and then we pay him whatever. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting. All right, so be well. Go Fins. Curtis out.